What's up, guys? It's Ty, aka Timberlands, and today this video is pretty much going to be about hormones. I'm gonna talk about just how my hormones have been through this whole process, like for the past year. So I want to get into fertility after birth control. So this is really only going to be relevant to people who are on Nuvaring or any type of birth control ring, but you know, it might be helpful to just kind of know my experience with it. So I've been on Nuvaring for several years. I started it back in 2014. I actually was on Depo right before I started Nuvaring. So I got my Depo shot back in like 2014, and I was only on it for that one shot. I hated it so much. I had like a continuous period for several months. I'd gained a lot of weight. And it just wasn't a good experience. Like, my hormones are all over the place. So once I went back to see my gynecologist, I told her, I was like, I don't want to take it again. And plus, after I had the shot, I did a little more research on it, and it just, like, so much has come out about the shot since then. So I was like, I don't want to do this again. But I was young, so I was trying to just, I was trying to find some birth control. So I went back to my gynecologist and I was like, I don't want to do the shot anymore. And then I ended up starting Nuvaring. And honestly, I've loved it ever since. There's been periods of time where I've kind of gone off of it, just to kind of give my body a break. But for the most part, it's the only birth control that I've used in the past several years. Last year, I ended up taking my birth control out. I want to say it was in April. And I wanted to just give my body a break. My partner was supposed to be gone for basic training. So I was like, I'll be fine with everything. And I took it out in April. If you're not familiar with Nuvaring, you basically keep it in for 3 weeks. You take it out after the 3 weeks, and then you have a period, and then you replace it that next week on the same day. You can also skip a period. So you can basically keep it in for 4 weeks. You can keep it in for 4 weeks, and then you just replace it on the same day with another one. In April last year, I took it out. I had a normal period like I expected, and I was like, I'm done. Again, my partner was supposed to be gone, and I was just like, it'll be fine. Of course, that's not a one-size-fits-all statement, but I was just like, I don't think, I think my body will probably take a while to adjust. So took it out in April and had a period, and then my partner ends up coming back. They didn't send him to training because of COVID. So he ended up coming back, and then I think I had one more period after that, and I literally got pregnant that very next ovulation. So it wasn't even like a full month before my fertility returned, and I was pregnant, and it was real quick. That's just my story. Again, every woman is different. So if you are on Nuvaring and you're curious about how long it'll take your fertility to return, it could be really quick. It can be a few months. But yeah, I also just kind of like Nuvaring for that reason, at least for me. Because if I do want to have a kid, like another baby in the future, then I can kind of like assume that my fertility won't be gone for very long. So it is definitely worth looking into if you're wanting to have a baby, or you just had a baby and you want to get back on birth control. I like it because it's an effective solution, but you don't have to worry about having like long periods of infertility. Again, it just depends on the person. So, just think about it that way. But I do like Nuvaring. My actual first postpartum period. So I thought that several months ago I'd had a period, but it actually wasn't a period. I don't really know what it was, but it was just like a little maybe breakthrough bleeding or something, but it wasn't an actual period. As most of you know, I did breastfeed, and I stopped about at month 5.5. I did mostly pumping, but I kind of went back and forth between pumping and feeding my daughter kind of in those last couple months because breastfeeding just got so much easier randomly. So I started breastfeeding and pumping, but I stopped when she was just shy of 6 months, and she still had enough breast milk that actually lasted her. Actually, do still have some breast milk frozen. We've transitioned her to formula at this point, so I'm probably going to end up donating it. As a lot of you know, breastfeeding, the hormones associated with breastfeeding can kind of stave off your period. And so, yeah, I didn't like I said, I had some random bleeding like several months ago. It was like really light. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it was not a period, but I didn't have anything else after that. So even with me having stopped breastfeeding like a couple months ago, I still didn't get a period up until last week. I started back my Nuvaring back, I want to say in like September. I can't remember, don't quote me on it. The 3 weeks, 1 week out, replace it. And then I got a period. So I actually did have my first postpartum period that started last week, and now it's finished. Now, the part that you're probably interested in is how heavy was the flow? Were you cramping? I will say that I literally cramped like 2 times. The second day, when the flow started to get a little heavier, I maybe cramped like I said, I cramped like twice, and then that was it the entire time. I definitely had bloating that's kind of going down now, and I felt a little tired maybe the second day, but I didn't really cramp at all. I hope that it's like it stays that way. I don't know, maybe my uterus is just more efficient at expelling things out now, but it really wasn't bad. I used a menstrual cup. I honestly forgot that I was even on my period a couple times. So yeah, I hope that this is like the new norm. When I was younger, I used to have very stressful and terrible periods that would take me out of commission for at least 3 days. But I do love the menstrual cup. I definitely recommend it. Inserting it is kind of a learning curve, but I definitely think it's worth it. And yeah, well, I also noticed that my period was a lot shorter. I did have like the regular bleeding for the like a couple days, but it really started to let up much quicker than it normally would. So again, like that first postpartum period, I thought it was just going to be terrible, but it actually turned out to be pretty easy. Moving on, kind of to the last part of this video, I'm going to get a little transparent. I'm nervous, but I wanted to talk about postpartum hair loss. So postpartum hair loss is very common. It usually happens when your hormone levels begin to fall after giving birth. So basically, when you're pregnant, the hormones pumping through your body help you retain hair more, so your hair tends to get thicker. My hair was thick before I got pregnant, but when I was pregnant, I had like a huge mane of hair, and I loved it. I was like, my hair is so healthy. Like I was definitely on the high. And honestly, that was the healthiest my hair had been, because I cut my hair off a few years ago and I started taking care of it more, and I was doing really good. And then I got pregnant, and then like it was just getting thicker, and it was great. So postpartum hair loss, again, it starts about 3 to 6 months after giving birth because the hormones start to fall. So you may notice like breakouts and everything like that. So I said in my last video that whenever I did first start experiencing postpartum hair loss, it was kind of like a one fell swoop type of thing. It didn't even happen over time. It was like just one day I got in the shower, I was washing my hair, and my hair was just coming out in clumps. And it was so bad, like my edges thinned out to the point where like my hairline it started like back behind my ear. And I just like, that really just killed my self-esteem. Like whatever I had left of my self-esteem was gone. And I was embarrassed. I didn't feel like myself. So back in July, I just cut all my hair off again. It was definitely an impulse cut, but I was tired of seeing like the long hair kind of compared to the thin edges. I just was like, I just want to cut it all off and start over. So I did cut my hair off. And then after that, I started to just make sure that I was like taking care of the hair that I did have. And after a little bit, the shedding stopped. So like it's pretty much back to normal now. But like after I shower, I would just put this like on my edges and in my scalp, pretty much like every day. And I think it has helped tremendously. Like you can see it kind of still just coming in like the little curlies here, but it's like way better than it was. Oh man. I'm finally glad that I can just like wear my hair and not feel super self-conscious about it, because that was a really rough time. The postpartum period is rough, y'all. It's really rough, but it's a part of the process. It doesn't happen to all women. It happens to, it just happens to some people, but it is just kind of precautionary, just expect it, but be gentle with yourself, because all of these changes after having a baby is very normal. And I finally had to have that talk, that come to Jesus moment with myself, and just say like, look, your hair will grow back. Things will start to even out when your hormones are kind of back to normal, which I think they are now since I had a period. And everything just takes some time. So that's my message to you. That's really all I wanted to talk about today. Just giving y'all an update on everything going on with my body. So my next video, I'm actually going to record it today. But I just want to give y'all an update on the little girls. So stick around, and I will see y'all next time.